I'm gonna do it. I said I did it. I would do it. So here we go. Okay. So basically here we're gonna talk about like reprints for Metal Raiders. So I'm gonna show you all the holos. I mean, you should be able to take like some rules from what I'm going to show you and apply it to commons and rares if you're interested in stuff like that too. So the same rules apply for commons and rares that they do for foils. I'm just giving you the foils because that's really what people generally want to see. And then if you have to extrapolate some rules from this, I'll give you the rules. But if you want to extrapolate some things on your own, then it'll work for commons and rares too. So I'm going to show you the infinite screen of death, and then we're going to go into the PowerPoint. So what I'm going to try and do is put the things in the description this time. I don't know. If I fuck it up, I'm sorry. All right. That's my one swear word for the video. I don't think I'm allowed anymore. I think that's it, right? Okay. So let's... I'm not doing this right. How in the hell do I do this? I got to show you the... Oh, for Christ's sake. Ah, here we go. Sorry. Okay. Display 2. Yeah. All right. We did it. Okay, you should be able to see this. Okay, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because it's already in my first one, but, you know, I'll give you guys some background here. So there are multiple reprints, if you don't know. Generally, authentic original cards come from 2002 to 2004. There are some 2003 reprints, and there's some 2004 reprints in there. And then there's Legendary Collection reprints. There's some 2007 reprints, but that doesn't apply to Metal Raiders. So you guys can read this. I'm not going to read it to you. These are the original releases. This is all like very generic information. These are the important reprints. I added a couple slides. I'll show you guys these. So basically, you have the Binder collection. It was released in 2010, and there are multiple languages that this was released in multiple languages, which has created an even larger headache. And then these are the Legendary Collection boxes that you can buy. So there's, you know, a multitude of them, to be honest. All right, I'm going to skip through all this. I think this is important for people to know, so if you want to pause and read, you can. This is an important rule here too, as well. This will show you some errata and text alignment tricks, and then this is like in practice as well. Some highlighted challenges for you who know, that it's tough to sometimes understand what's a reprint and what's not. There's some Eye of Anubis things that you can use as well. I will show you the difference between the LC01 binder sets here and the 2013 to 2017 2020 copies as well. So this is the difference here between the 2010 binder collection and the 2013 and beyond game board collection. You can see like the foil is way better on the 2010 copies. You see it's like flat, and here it's like rigid and shitty looking. Yeah, big deal. Okay, so 2010, right? This is the same thing. So this comes from the 2010 guy here. Same picture. No stars, right? And then this is the 2013. It's got stars. See that? Look at that. Pretty easy. Okay, if you want to test yourself, you can do this. And then I'm going to give you the answer here in a second. Alright, so this is the answer. And then if you also want to test yourself here, you can do it here. The answer to this is pretty obvious, but you can also see this as well. Okay, so let's talk Metal Raiders. So I'm going to get into Metal Raiders. These are the original releases, all the releases. So there was an original release. It came out in 2002. There's the collectible tin release that came out in the booster pack tins October 2003. The Ian release was released in Forbidden Legacy 1 and Master Collection 1. And then there's a Legendary Collection release that was done in 2010 and beyond. So I combined the 2010 and 2013 Legendary Collection releases because essentially they're the same thing. I mean, I don't even know that the binder exclusively doesn't have the same quality cards. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not convinced that you can't pull a card that looks like a 2013 copy. Although I don't think it's possible, but it's not impossible because I haven't opened like 80 of these things. Okay, let's talk packs. So everybody knows that they're hobby and retail packs. So there's a square logo here, right? Square logo, always original, right? And the square logo, you can see right here, is also on the pack, okay? That square logo also comes on the pack. Big deal. I'll show you guys later. Okay, so basics, right? Original, unlimited. I'm not showing you first edition because first edition is always original. You don't have to worry about that. So IPCs, all right, you got it. Okay, let's look at this now. So this is the 2003 reprint. There are two types of 2003 reprints, okay? One type was released in boxes and the other came in the October 2003 tin. There is a way to tell the difference between them. So I assume that they're from around June, maybe earlier. They may even be like December 2002. I just call them 2003 because, you know, I know that they came after the original release. Although I don't think they came out in 2002 because Pharaoh's Servant was released in like October, and it has a square logo. Even Labyrinth of Nightmare has a square logo, and that was released in 2003. So I don't think these came out in 2003. I think they were re-released as a part of the printing before the tins, and then the tins are printed differently. I almost said the same thing as the tins, but they're not. Okay, so they have the red banner logo, right, and they have the for U.S. and Canada English edition because they were still making European copies then. So European wasn't combined with English edition, but Canadian releases were combined with the North American releases, and that's why you see for U.S. and Canada English edition. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference here. This is how I figured this out. So if you look at the original pack, right, again, old logo, this pack right here is the same, has the same alignment as this pack from 2003. See, 2003 logo, right? So you know this is from 2003. All right, look at that logo. It's and they're only in retail. There are no re-releases of the hobby edition, but I think that you can get both of them in that pack. At least I haven't seen one for Metal Raiders. So I haven't seen a hobby re-release from 2003 for Metal Raiders. I've seen them for Pharaoh's Servant, but we can talk about that in another video. So the alignment here is important. Again, all right, I'm gonna move this for you. You can see that that patent number has like this amount of space here. And again, it has the same amount of space here. C, all, deck, R, Konami, right? So look at this. Game, content, run, Kazuki, R, deck, all, C. Okay, so we know that this alignment for the licensing information is the same as this. So we can infer that this pack is not a spell pack because the spell packs that come out of tins have a separate alignment from the original packs. So look at this. Right? See the alignment difference here? The licensing info has changed. That's important. All of these packs that look like this, with this licensing box, come from a tin. And they will all have spell copies of anything that references or previously referenced a magic card. Except for the word Magic Jammer in Magic Jammer, or the word magic in the card Magic Jammer will still be Magic Jammer. But it refers to spell cards rather than magic cards. So, and I'll show you guys examples of this. But you know, that's how I figured this out. I used a couple of, or I had help from a couple of people in doing this. People who sold me packs, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Attic and stuff like that. Okay, so let's talk Master Collection, right? So this is a Master Collection pack. You know it's a Master Collection pack because it has the 101853 MC, okay? So watch this. 101853 MC, or 101853. So all they did here is take the retail version or the retail code of the IPC and put an MC at the end. Again, retail is the one that's reprinted, not hobby. So we know that packs like this are going to have EN cards in it. So there's a couple differences. You can see it has the red banner, right? But the other one has the red banner as well. But this one has English edition, and it has the Shonen Jumps on the Yu-Gi-Oh! logo. Okay? Not there. Okay? All right. We get it. Let's move on. Okay, so there are a couple ways to tell the difference between Legendary Collection packs. So first of all, this 6 Plus was introduced for Legendary Collection. So, I mean, if it says 6+ years, then it's a 2010 and beyond pack. Definitely. There's no argument. It didn't come from a box. Like some people put in their YouTube videos, or on their eBay listings, sorry. It has the red banner. So the Legendary Collection binders have the red banner. So the red banner alone is not enough to differentiate between Legendary Collection packs and original packs, or 2003, 2004 packs. You need more than that. So one of the keys here is the 6 Plus. So you can see here, there's no 6 Plus, no 6 Plus, 6 Plus. Also, the packs look way different. Okay, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the packs themselves are almost like foiled, and they get even more foiled as you go through Legendary Collection. Anything with an EAN is not original, period. There's no such thing as an EAN on anything before Legendary Collection 1. It just doesn't exist. So if your Invasion of Chaos pack has an EAN, it is not from IOC SE. Definitely not. IOC SE does not have an EAN, period. There's no way. Okay. Legendary Collection Game Board Editions, pretty easy, right? It's got that really big white border red logo. Okay? It's not a misprint. It was just torn. I opened all these packs. Okay. So I'll show you guys this too. This one says 2014. This one says 2017. Okay? All right. Look, if your pack says 2017, it's from 2017. I don't think anybody's going to argue with you. If you're saying it's from something else, then yes, people should argue with you. You're being dumb. Okay, Larry, let's talk Gate Guardian. So we'll go each foil, and I'll try and list these on the description so you could click to them to see easier. So I got all the first editions in order, or I got the first editions on the left for most of these, and then we'll talk through each of them. So this is the original here. You can see that a lot of these are pretty easy to tell. I mean, the color is way different, right? Color is a bad way to do anything here. So I always advocate not using color because color can be confusing when you apply that rule to other sectors. But generally speaking, the text is going to be different. So it says like this card can only be special summoned by offering Sanga of the Thunder. This card cannot be normal summoned or set, right? Huge difference. So, I mean, the text alone will tell you if your card is original or it isn't. This is, you got you control at the end, like the sentences are longer, contains extra words, and then obviously EN is always going to be Master Collection or Forbidden Legacy. I date them all as 2004 because that's the earliest it could come out. There's no way to tell the difference between Master Collection and Forbidden Legacy. Okay, here you go. Gate Guardian, pretty easy, right? Summon Skull. This one was a little bit harder. So the same thing that, the thing that works for LOB, like you'll see when I do LOB, what I want to do is show you guys the difference between the borders, like in LOB, but in Metal Raiders, the lettering is right on the border. So that trick doesn't work for Metal Raiders at all. So you see like it's got the same spacing on the border. I mean, I'm not taking like a slide rule to this or like a laser to measure these. So like if you're telling me that the difference is noticeable, I think you're wrong. But you can tell that this alignment here is original. I mean, I'm looking at the card before I make the judgment, just so you know. So I'm not looking at this alignment and saying, oh, well, you know, check this out. But it's the same as first edition, right? So any card that is different in Legendary Collection from first edition, there's an unlimited that will be exactly like the first edition. So a card that has a reprint that is different can be differentiated by looking at the differences from the first edition. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but there's a rule here where basically any original unlimited card is going to look exactly like the first edition. And so if there is a difference there, then you can tell based on the text alone. Some cards do not have a difference, and I'll show you how, you know, that exists later. But For this, you can apply that rule and say, okay, this unlimited has the same alignment as the first edition. And so because of that, I know that this unlimited here is first edition, or is original unlimited, and that because this one has a different alignment, it's from Legendary Collection and beyond. I hope that makes sense. Okay, obviously EN is EN. I'm not even going to mention EN anymore. But this one is spaced out. These are on top of each other. Okay? That was the easiest way for me. There may be other ways to do it, and I'm willing to hear them, whatever works for you best. Okay, so we talked about the 10 releases and the magic and the spell references. Okay, so let's, EN, got it. So the easiest way to do this is to look at these first. So we know that this is original. It references magic. It's original. If it says magic, it's original. There's no doubt about it. Anything that says spell is not original. So now we have to say, okay, this is magic. So now there must be spell versions of this card. How can we tell the difference between the 10 and the Legendary Collection? Because both are going to say spell. Don't use the color as an example here. So this one says, this monster can only be special summoned. Okay, let's look at the first edition text here. I'm going to use this as an example. So it says, this monster can only be special summoned. So a 10 copy of this card, right, because again, it says magic, any 10 copies are going to have the exact same effect, except they're going to say spell. They should have the same exact spacing as well. But, the word spell and magic are different, so sometimes it doesn't have the same exact spacing. But we should see spell where it does say magic on this original card. And we do. There is a copy of a card like that, and it's right here. This monster can only be special summoned with the spell card Elegant Egotist. This monster can only be special summoned with the magic card Elegant Egotist. And we know that this is the original 10 copy because this copy here says something completely different. This card cannot be normal summon or set. This is a thing that occurs a lot. Is a lot of times when they change the errata on the card or the lore or the effect on the card, instead of saying this monster can only, they say this monster or this card cannot be. That happens on almost every single card that has a summoning requirement. Okay. This card cannot be. This monster can only be. This changes every time. And again, it doesn't even say magic or spell here. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card can only be special summoned with Elegant Egotist. It doesn't say it because it's redundant, and it doesn't even need to say it here. But they say it here because, back then they made things way longer and harder than they had to be. Okay. Everybody cool with this? It's all right here. The answers are here. Okay. This card I had a lot of trouble with. I know that this card, so the 10 release doesn't exist. There's no difference in the 10, right? Because it doesn't say magic or spell. Okay, we know this is original because of the color of the name, period. I know that this card is original. This card is not original because of the color of the name. So I tried to do the alignment for this card and had a lot of trouble with it. Now you can see that sometimes the alignment matters, but I couldn't tell if it was because the card was tilted and I was getting a bad measurement on the card, or because the name is in a different spot every time. So you'll see with a lot of original cards that the names are not engraved in the same spot every time, especially with Metal Raiders and Legend of Blue Eyes. And so, it's tough to take the name when it's an ultra rare, a rare, or a secret rare and use it as a placing for determining whether or not the text is aligned like the first edition. Because again, this changes. Sorry, pushed the wrong thing. This changes. This name is not always in the same exact spot. All right, it should be, but it's not because there are misprints and there are lowered names and everything. So I really had a lot of trouble with this. My recommendation was that the differences be looked for in the Eye of Anubis, the name color, and the foiling. It's really hard to tell the difference. And so what that actually, the problem that creates is that it now makes it really difficult to tell the difference between 2010 LC01s, like the binder copies that look the same, like I showed you above, the binder copies that look the same, it's hard to tell the difference between those and the Metal Raiders cards. Now, there is a way to do it. The name on the Metal Raiders cards a lot of times is got like little lines through it. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at them really closely. And really, you can tell the difference. LC01 binder copies are really, really clean copies. But if the card was like really beat up, like I'm not convinced that you could tell the difference. And so what that does is it creates an increased population of unlimited cards that appear to be original. And it's the same thing for the tin releases too. It's no different because these do look the exact same. The tin releases, the 2003 box releases, like they look the exact same. So anyways, there is no difference here as far as I could tell. All of the alignments were the same. You see how it comes over the E and red eyes here? Same thing. E and red eyes. So, you know, this might work for you. It might not. I'm not sure if this is actually going to work. Okay. Pretty easy. You know, Sanga has a totally different effect. This is a really blurry card. You can also, if you look, let's look. Wow, stars in the Eye of Anubis. This is a star for sure. Okay. But when you look, reduce the attack of an opponent's monsters during your opponent's damage calculation. Again, reduce the attack of an opponent's monster. Reduce the attack of an opponent's monster. So any original effect is going to look exactly the same as the first edition. Okay. Kazejin, same thing. During your opponent's damage calculation. Reduce the attack of an opponent's monster. Same thing. Okay? Suijin, same thing. Pretty easy. Okay. Tribute. So we're going to get into spell cards here. Some of them. So, Magic, right? Original. Done. We know that's original. EN. Done. It's from 2004, 2005. We know that. Okay. Tin. LC01. Tin cards have the same exact effect. Discard one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy one location. Monster card on the field regardless of position. Alright. Discard one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy one monster card on the field regardless of position. Here we go. You ready? Discard one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy one monster card on the field regardless of position. This, like, I can't tell you how long I looked at this before I was like, oh my god, thank god there is a difference. Because it is really hard to tell the difference between tin spells and the binder copy spells. They look, especially supers that don't have that engraved gold name, like ultras and secrets, or like, you know, the secret name. These cards are really hard to tell because all you have is the foil and the color. And I hate telling people to use color because color is, like, it's extremely subjective. And color doesn't always work. You know, not every faded card is wavy. Not every wavy card is faded. You know what I mean? Like, these things are not the same. Like, it's less than scientific, I guess I'll say. Okay. You use the one location. Make sense? Oh, shit. Sorry. Here. Tribute. Okay? It's all right here. All right. Change of heart. Easy. Magic. Done. EN. Done. Tin. Right? Spell. Binder spell. Or whatever. LC01. Select and control. Select one monster. Right? So, select one monster on your opponent's side of the field. Sorry, these are so blurry. All right. Select and control one opposing monster. Again, you can see, like, this is 3 lines. Also, this is 1 line. Okay. Next. All right. Most of you can clearly tell this is a reprint. Look at the name. I picked some obvious ones because what I really needed to do was find a confirmed reprint here. So these are obvious copies, like, from the whole pictures. But the reason that they're obvious copies is because I needed to be sure that these are reprints. And I was positive that this was a reprint. Positive when I looked at it. So when you look at this, right, toss a coin and call heads. Toss a coin and call heads, right? Original effect. Once per turn. Done. We already know it's a reprint. It doesn't have the same effect. That's it. We don't need to know anything else. You don't need to look at the name. You don't need to look at the foiling. You don't need to find stars in the Eye of Anubis. The effect is not the same. Done. That's it. We got the answer. All right. Next. Kuriboh. All right. Look at how long this effect is. All right. It's 4 lines. Look at this thing. 2 lines. Done. We don't have to ask any more questions, man. This is it. We're done. We don't need any more information. It's not the original effect. All original cards for Metal Raiders through 2004, or through 2003, I'll say, through 2003 have the same exact effect. Most errata was not introduced into cards until Master Collection came out. And if there was errata given to cards, it was only through judging and for tournaments. All right? So, like, there were no reprints. Like, what people sometimes don't understand is that when we got extra cards or extra releases or whatever, they weren't really reprints. They were just like the same exact card, except they came in a different pack. And so one of the problems that people have later on is they're looking for, you know, oh, does the foil look different? Like, it's not that hard. You have to look at the effect. The erratas were introduced later on once GX came out with Master Collection, when it was released and all that shit came out. Like, that's when errata was officially introduced into these cards. And so you can see that even this card has a different effect than the original effect. You don't even need to look at the EN. I mean, the EN is the easiest thing to look for, but it says battle phase down here. And down here it says opponent's battle phase. And so when these cards were released in 2004, they did have errata introduced into the effect and the lore on the card. So, you know, when I played, there was only 1 copy of Metal Raiders. I mean, we used to balk at structure decks that were released in Japan because you could get common versions of Mirror Force and crap like that. But when we played in 2002, 3, and 4, you know, the only way to get a Mirror Force was to literally pull it out of a Metal Raiders pack. That's the only way to do it. It could have came in a tin, a box, a pack. But the vendor, if the vendor had any, they all came from Metal Raiders packs. All of them. There was no errata then. The card said what it said. That's it. Okay, enough of that. Anyways, so again, 2 lines, 4 lines. Done. We don't need to know anything else about this card. Same thing here. Again, offer 1 monster on your opponent's side, blah, 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 blah. All right, what is the shortest effect? It's 3 lines. We're done. We don't need to know anything else. EN, done. Don't need to know anything else. Here's the original effect on a card. All right, this is the original card right here. 2002, 2003. That's it. This card was either from 2002 or from 2003. There's no other way to get that card. Okay. Next. I had some trouble with this, I think. I'm looking at this and yeah. Yep. This is one that I had a lot of trouble with because it doesn't have enough text. And I think that the name is like the same length too. I think this one is longer. The names for super rares are easier to use when you compare the name like in a line straight down the card. But it's so close to the original. Like if you look at it, it kind of aligns with like the middle of that star, that last star. And again here, it's like kind of in the middle. Like I don't know, man. Like I have laser eyes, but it's really hard. I would have to look at the foil. And then, well, the stars, if it's got stars, you'll see the foil is really different, obviously, if there are stars. But, you know, for a 2010 copy, when comparing the 2010 copy from the binder to the original, I would have to look at the foil and the back. I mean, you'd have to look at the cardstock quality. That would be the only way to really know. Because, I mean, it's just, there's just not enough, like, on the card physically to compare it to, because if you look, like that's over the E a little bit before the R, right? And again, it's over the E a little bit before the R. So like, it's really difficult for a lot of these cards. Thunder Dragon is one of those. All right, next, or Garnecia Elefantis. Garnecia Elefantis. Alright, this one is easy to do. See that right here? That. See that right there? Yep, that, and that. That. I'm being funny. Sorry. Alright. Again, the alignment here with the period is different as well. Connects to F. This one connects to D. This one also is long enough that it aligns with the MRD 125. These copies, like this copy comes from, let me see where it comes from. I'll tell you right now. Ooh, see, it comes from a BCCG. We know it's a reprint, right? Look at that. Definite reprint. Definitely not from 2002. Definitely from 2013 and beyond, because all the BCCG copies are from 2013 and beyond. I think they're actually from like 2017 or something like that. So we know that this is what I'm getting at here is we know this is a 17-14 game board copy. But the 2010 copies from the binders will have the same exact alignment as this card. So even the binder copies will do this. So you don't need to look at the foil or anything like that. Like, it's not going to be really close. Like, this card is going to be very different as a binder copy even. Okay. Next. Barrel Dragon. This one was kind of hard for me, but the easiest way to check the alignment on cards that have the same thing like this, actually what I'm noticing now is it says destroy 1, and here it says destroy 1. So that's probably the best way to do it. But I would say for like cards where you want to measure the alignment because the words are kind of in the same spot, they take up the same space, etc. The best way to do it is to measure the middle, because all of these cards are center justified. All of the text. I don't know if you understand what that means, but basically what it does is it pushes the text all the way to each end of the text box so that it's full. And then what happens is all of the words in the middle are in different places than they are originally. And so basically what you want to do if you want to measure the text alignments, the best place to do that is in the middle of the text of the card, because that's where things are going to get jumbled up, because it's going to be aligned here, it's going to be aligned here, right? Straight up. That's always going to be justified center. So it's going to push those those words out to the borders, and then what you want to do is look in the middle of the card and see where the alignment stands, right? So apostrophe S straight in the middle of G and Y, apostrophe S straight over Y. But again, 1 is probably the best way to do that. Again, you can see here, first edition effect, toss 3 coins, blah, 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 destroy 1, toss 3 coins, blah, 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 destroy 1, toss 3 coins, destroy 1 monster. Okay, we did it. Next. All right. Wow, there's a tin release for Solemn Judgment. Yep, there is. Okay. Magic. Where does it say it? Magic. Boom. It's original. You don't have to worry about it anymore. EN. Done. Okay. Let's take a look here. 3 lines for one of these copies. How do we know it's a reprint, though? Probably because it comes in a BCCG holder. Look at that. Okay, so we know this is a reprint, so I grabbed this because I knew it was a reprint. Pay half of your life points. Pay half of your life points when your opponent either, right? All one word. Or all one sentence. Pay half your life points when your opponent either. What does it say here? Pay half your life points. Period. Negate the activation or whatever. Alright. It's hard to read that. I'm sorry. But the text is also different, right? But you can see this is 3 lines. This one is 4. This 4-line text, right? 4 lines of text. Same exact, I'm going to show you. Same exact alignment. Same exact alignment. Alright. Period under N. Oh, it's not because it says spell. Yep. Just like I said. Sorry. I'm wrong. It doesn't have the same alignment, but it says spell. But it would have the same alignment if it didn't say spell. Whoops. Sorry. Alright. Sorry. Okay. Magic Jammer. This card sucked ass to compare. All right, magic card, done. EN, done. We don't need to know anything else about those. Spell card. This is where I had some trouble, and I I tested this thing. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear here. I tested this thing like all kinds of different ways. You can see the R, same place under the G, or the period under the R. You can see like that. I tried to test this thing like vertically, like R alignment, like it's the same alignment as the original Magic version. So like there's not enough here to really say like, okay, if you do this, it's definitely a reprint. Like it might not be, okay? You're gonna know what is a 2013 and 14 and 17 and 2020 and whenever they reprint these things again, you're gonna know what those cards are. They're gonna have dark gold names. They're gonna have stars in the Eye of Anubis. The big thing here is look at this card. Like that is not like it might not be a reprint. Like I couldn't tell for sure. I'm lying. I grabbed it. I must have grabbed this for a reason. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, maybe I. Oh, here we go. Nope. All right. Sorry. Oh crap. Look what I did. All right. I thought that this was a reprint. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I must have put this on here because I thought it was a reprint. But what I'm trying to get at here is like it's really hard to tell the difference between what is from 2010 and what is from 2003. The originals, if they say Magic, that's it. Like it's an original card if it says Magic. Wouldn't it be funny if they changed the name to Spelljammer though? That'd be pretty cool. Or like Magic Canceller from NFC. All right. Anyways. You're going to have to use a lot of work on this one. So you're really going to have to compare this thing like by looking at the name, looking at the foil, looking for stars in the Eye of Anubis. Okay, text is not enough for this card. I kind of had the same problem with this one. Because, again, like this one doesn't say Magic. And so now we have to be concerned that the original card can be conflated with the reprint. So this one, I'm pretty sure this came in a BCCG holder, but you can look at the color of the name and tell. And I must have cropped it for good. You can look at the name and tell that this name is darker. This is a dark gold name. I thought that this would work. I'm going to show you guys the lines in the name here. I don't know if you can see this, but there are lines in that name. All right, any name with those lines straight across it, like that is an original card. Always, 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 always. That is always an original card if it has the lines in the name. And I haven't seen any faded LC01. That doesn't mean that somebody can't leave it on their dashboard and, you know, fade it. But, you know, typically, like, if it's a faded card, it's original. So I used this. This kind of worked for me. But I wasn't sure if this was going to work all the time because that name is engraved. And engraved names are placed differently on every single card. Or on every single sheet, they're placed differently, depending on how the sheet is aligned with the printer and the engraver and everything like that. So it just depends. So you're going to have to use like the Eye of Anubis, you're going to have to use the foil, and you're going to have to use the name, and you're going to have to be careful. Okay? This might work, it might not. All right. Again, you can just like read this, and this probably says everything you need to know. All right. This one was easy. Horn of Heaven. Again, look at the lines in the name. Look at that. Original. Offer one of your monsters. Tribute one monster. Done. No need to know anything else. This is the original effect. A card that's original and unlimited will have the same exact effect. Any card that doesn't have the original effect is not original. Period. Alright. Next. Mirror Force. Same thing. When an opponent's monster attacks. Activate only. Not original. Done. Don't need to know anything else. Heavy Storm. This one I had a lot of trouble with. Magic. Done. EN. Done. Now we got to look at this. I think that this will work because the name is not engraved. It's printed onto the card. This is a definite reprint here. I'm going to show you guys. It has the same exact alignment. Right? That M is not in the same spot as it is here. This one is further over than this one. This one is crunched together a little bit. Okay. I think that this will work. But this is a definite reprint, just so you know. And again, if you really want to make sure, you know, you gotta, Magic not a problem. The spell cards are the problem. You got to make sure that the foil, the name won't matter here. The foil and the Eye of Anubis. Those are the only ways. If you really understand cardstock quality, you can use that too. But I mean, you really got to know what you're talking about with cardstock, because some Metal Raiders cards are printed really well. But they are different from Legendary Collection. You can tell the difference if you're like astute enough to know the difference. I had the same issue with Thousand Dragon. Thousand Dragon is pretty easy to do because the secrets from the binder collection have changed by then. So you can tell the difference between a binder copy and an original copy because the secret or foiling is different in the binder copy. That said, I do think that this will work, but again, the name is engraved, so you have to be careful. There's no difference here. It doesn't say magic or anything like that. And you can't use the bracket. The brackets are the same. Okay. All right, that is it. That's like everything. So, you know, one of the things that you really need to understand, there are some fundamentals that you really need to understand, and I'm going to go through them one more time with you guys. You know, the first one that you really need to understand is like the difference between magic and spell cards. So there are original spell cards. Original, like I'm doing the air quotes here. You know, they are original to the period. They're original to classic Yu-Gi-Oh! They came out, they supplemented the existing population so people didn't have to pay $50 for an unlimited Mirror Force, basically. So the 2002, 2003 copies augmented them. The 2002 copies say Magic. The 2003 box packs say Magic. The 2003 tin packs have spell cards in them. Okay? Big thing to understand. Rule number 1. Okay? Errata. Rule number 2. Anything that has the original effect, right, is the same. It's the same exact effect here. Okay? And that's only if the effect changes. If the effect doesn't change, right, like in Dark Hole, the effect does not change with the Legendary Collection, then you can't use the errata rule. It doesn't work. It has to be with an effect or with a card that has an effect that changes with Legendary Collection through errata. That's the only reason that this works. So if you have I'm going to show you, so you know, like an example here, a hard example of this, that it caused me a ton of heartache, okay? This effect does not change. Destroy all monsters on the field. Destroys all monsters on the field, period. That effect does not change, right? So you cannot use the errata rule to determine the difference between this tin copy and this LC01 copy, okay? That's what I'm talking about. If the effect changes, you can use errata, okay? Here it is, right? Errata being used. Errata doesn't work here. Okay? The effect is the exact same. Here it is. The first edition unlimited and the unlimited edition have the same effect. Does this mean that the unlimited trap hole is from 2002 when the unlimited LOB would have been released? No, it could still be a reprint from LC01 if the card's effect never changed, and it didn't. Okay? So you need to use other things to figure it out there. Okay. Eye of Anubis. 3. You can use this. Eye of Anubis will help you. And highlighted challenges here. There are alignment challenges. Okay? You can use the alignment, but it doesn't always work. Alignment will always work in the effect box, but doesn't always work for cards that have an engraved name. Okay. Those are the big takeaways here. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. I'm about to give you the screen here. Close your eyes, my children. All right, here it is. All right. Did we do it? We did it! We all survived. Look at that. How long has it been? It's probably been a while. All right, 44 minutes. Okay, look, I'm going to tie this up here. So thanks for watching. I'm hoping that you guys learned something here from this and that, you know, this is helpful for you. So I will do one on Spell Ruler. Spell Ruler is super easy. I'm just going to give you a really quick 20-minute video for Spell Ruler. I'm not doing it tomorrow. I'm pretty taxed, man. Got to work on some other things here. But hey, look, subscribe, comment, and I will get back to you. Okay? All right, thanks. Hey, and everyone, take care.